The ruined portal is one of the most interesting structures in Minecraft. The loot is super variable, with stuff ranging from flint all the way to notch apples. It also usually has golden tools to go along with the other items. Since there could be so many different things in the chest, it can take a while to loot it all. This is where speedrunning tricks can be useful. The first thing to look for immediately after opening it is a gold axe. If it has one, grabbing it and mining the chest is actually the fastest way to loot it. Comparing the options side by side, you can see that by mining it, it can be around 1 second faster. That's what this video is about, showing you unique speedrunning tricks that most people don't talk about, but can be super useful to have in the bag. Even if you aren't a speedrunner, there will be plenty of useful tips that you can apply to everyday Minecraft. Let's get right into it. It's pretty common knowledge that you can build up 3 blocks to avoid getting hit by an iron golem. Well, there's a few more tricks when it comes to killing it. First off, critting it out is much better than using a normal attack. Crits do 50% more damage, so you'll end up killing it around 50% faster. The second important characteristic of crits is the timing necessary to get one. Crits can only be performed if your weapon's attack cooldown is past 84.8%, so knowing when to jump an attack is vital. Luckily, jump timing and attack timing line up real nicely. For a sword, all you have to do is hold spacebar and attack on the way down every jump. For an axe, hold spacebar once again, but instead of every jump, attack on every other one. In between jumps, you can use third person to look around you for whatever your next task might be. Render distance and entity distance go hand in hand. Render controls the length of chunk loading, and entity controls the length of things like minecarts, mobs, and items. If you pair these with the pie chart, you can locate important points of interest. It's common practice in speedrunning to have your distances low to search for chests with the pie chart, and high to search for floating kelp that can indicate lava ravines. Off of an island spawn where you detect a chest, there are 2 things to look for: buried treasures and shipwrecks. If you spot a shipwreck, you can raise the sliders while you're jumping in the water, since you don't need to search for chests anymore. If you don't see a shipwreck and think it's a buried treasure, wait to raise the sliders until you've looted the BT and you're popping out of the water. This is because you need the low distances to pinpoint exactly which chunk it's in, so doing it after is the best option. Breaking blocks is one of the first things you do in Minecraft. When you open a new world, it's literally the first thing you do. Punch a tree. There is a mechanic you should be aware of when mining though. If you switch hotbar slots while mining a block, sometimes it will reset your progress and begin again. This only happens when you swap between 2 separate items though. For example, if I swap between my fist and a pufferfish, it will reset each time I swap. But if I swap between my fist and another empty slot, it will never reset. One of the biggest examples of this principle being applied is when you chop down your first log. If you hold down your left click and break log number 1, but you have your first slot selected, sometimes your progress can get reset for log number 2 because you pick up an item, which swaps what's in your hand. This is just a minor inconvenience, but if you select the second slot instead of the first, you'll never have your progress reset while mining with your fist. A hunger reset can be a super valuable trick to know, because sometimes you'll find yourself low on health and out of food, leaving you unable to heal. The process boils down to trapping yourself in a hole, setting your spawn, and using pearls, lava, or other forms of damage to reset your health and hunger by respawning. This can be done in the nether with a respawn anchor or in the overworld with a bed, so I'll go over some of the most useful variations. Digging 2 blocks down next to a bed is the most common setup, and this can even be done underwater. In the nether, you can do a similar setup with a respawn anchor, or you can do a modified version like this in a fortress. When you make a portal to throw your eyes of ender, you can do a setup like this in the frame by breaking the portal with lava or water to quickly reset and head back into the nether. The stronghold is where you'll see a lot of speedrunners do resets, since you need a lot of health to go for a 0 cycle. 2 common resets are done here, with one being done in any hallway by breaking a block above a bed like this, and the other being done in the corner of the portal room like this. More mobs in Minecraft have 10 hearts than any other amount, so knowing how to deal that much damage the fastest and easiest can be useful. Swords and axes are the best weapons for this, and sometimes a combination of the 2 is optimal. An axe crit followed by a sword crit will kill any 10-hearted mob, as long as each of the weapons are at least stone or higher. Be mindful that the cooldown on an iron axe is quicker than a stone axe, but regardless, when combined with a sword crit, they both deal at least 10 hearts. A diamond sword is still king in this scenario though, dealing 10.5 hearts with 2 crits. Here's the final times. An iron axe with 1.57 seconds, axe plus sword with 1.25 seconds, and a diamond sword with 1.1 seconds. Give or take a few hundredths of a second due to user error, but now you know what the most optimal weapon combos are. Your hotbar is your most valuable tool, since you can only interact with whatever's in it. Frequently, I find myself wishing I had more hotbar space, but Minecraft doesn't offer any solutions to this problem other than the offhand. Luckily, there's actually one more slot you can use. In your inventory, you have the option to open your recipe book. This is useful for crafting certain things quickly, but it also moves your entire inventory to the right. Coincidentally, this moves everything into the perfect place where whenever you open your inventory, your mouse hovers over the top left slot. This can allow you to quickly access whatever is in that slot by opening your inventory and instantly hitting a hotkey on your hotbar. Speedrunners usually use this to quickly access fire charges or a flint and steel, but you can use this trick on any item you want. The desert temple is one of the best structures in Minecraft, and it's especially so when it comes to speedrunning. There are multiple tricks to make looting it as smooth as possible, so let's go over some of them. By aligning your crosshair between the top 2 pixels of the sandstone while shifting, and then releasing shift while falling, you'll be perfectly lined up to mine the sandstone under the pressure plate. You can also place a sand on the wall while falling to try and take less damage. When it comes to looting the bottom, blowing it up with the TNT already down there is the best way to do it. After you mine the sandstone under the pressure plate, place the pressure plate on the block you're standing on to light 1 TNT. Quickly drop into the hole, mine the rest of the TNT, and hop out of there as soon as possible. Once it's blown up, collect the items and pillar out of the pit. You can offhand blocks and throw out junk items while stacking as well. When it comes to villages, the Blacksmith is the most coveted building. It can have plenty of useful items like iron and obsidian, and it's always the first building a speedrunner searches for. For any speedrun, you need wood, iron, and food. A village has all 3, but the order you collect those can be optimized. Mining this log allows you to loot the chest without entering the building, leading to an overlap of collecting wood and iron. This can also apply when looting a blacksmith late game, since you can mine the same block with an axe to be much quicker. Splash potions are super useful when it comes to getting its effects quickly, but making sure you use them properly is crucial. If a pot hits an entity directly, it receives the full effects, whether that be the duration, damage, or healing. This can be done to yourself by throwing it directly up into the air. In 1.16, where most speedrunning is done, this is the way to get the most out of every pot. If you aren't worried about getting the absolute most out of each one, you can throw it directly down into the ground under your feet. In modern versions, it actually doesn't matter if you throw it up or down. As long as the pot hits within your hitbox, you'll get the full effects. Meanwhile, in 1.16, you'll lose roughly 12% of the total duration if you throw it at your feet. This is the fastest way to get the effects, so a lot of people just end up doing it this way. If you are low on pots though, I'd recommend trying to get the most out of each one. TNT is one of the best ways to mine blocks, and knowing tricks on how to use it can make it that much more valuable. TNT is normally neutralized by water, but there's actually 2 setups you can use to bypass this. Setup 1 involves placing a sand above the TNT before lighting it. This creates an air pocket that the TNT can blow up inside. Setup 2 involves placing the TNT on top of a pressure plate, so when you swim on the plate, the TNT falls into the air pocket it creates. You can use these setups to collect gravel, sand, and clay, as well as enter an ocean monument from the top down. Shipwrecks have a ton of variability, but no matter the kind of shipwreck, if it has the rounded back, it has a treasure chest. Depending on which way you see the ship from, you should approach looting it in 3 different ways. If you come from the front, swimming to the small gap on the top of the boat is the quickest way to reach the chest. If you come from the side, there's a 1-block hole where you can slide in. If you come from the back, there's a similar hole above the rudder. Sometimes the ship will be turned on its side or partially buried, but the holes will always be there. Picking the closest open hole is always the best option. The dragon's breath can be a little tricky to deal with in the end, and it's how most people die besides the rogue enderman. Luckily, it's actually very predictable, and there are simple countermeasures you can use. Whenever you shoot down an end crystal, the dragon is guaranteed to fire a fireball at you. It can also do this periodically while flying around, so knowing how to deal with the breath is key. Its breath always gets placed at your feet if the fireball hits your player, so if you build up 1 block after it hits you, you can't get hurt by the breath. You can also go 1 block down into the ground when the dragon fires, so when the fireball hits you, the breath will be underground, allowing you to avoid it altogether. Math is usually a sore subject in school, but in Minecraft, sometimes it can be essential when it comes to crafting the right things. Most modern speedruns start with looting a buried treasure, and resulting from that, you'll have a random amount of iron, gold, and diamonds. Depending on how much of each you got, you should make different kinds of tools. No matter what, you need to craft an axe, shovel, and pickaxe. Starting with iron, iron, you need at least 7 to be able to craft a pickaxe, bucket, and flint and steel. Any extra iron can go towards shears next, and then an axe if you have enough. Gold is usually used to craft a shovel, but if you don't have enough iron to make an axe, gold is also an option if you have enough. You can also dig down and mine stone to craft an axe if you have limited materials. Diamonds are the wild card when it comes to crafting, so you need to pay attention to how many you get. If you get 3, they should be used to make a pickaxe. This will save on iron, so you can use that iron to craft the other tools. If you get 2, you can craft a diamond sword. This is useful for killing blazes later in the run. If you get 1, you can make a diamond shovel. As you can see, there's tons of variability when it comes to crafting tools. With time, you'll learn to calculate what to craft quickly, so doing practice crafting is great for building those math skills. Learning every trick in this video isn't mandatory, but at least now you know about some more tricks that you can add to your bag. Minecraft is a journey, and the best part about it is that you can learn at whatever pace you want, whether that's as fast as a speedrunner or taking it nice and slow. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments, and if you want to learn about more Minecraft tricks that can make you better, click this video right here. Thanks for watching.